Hey everyone, Matt here and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. In the last video, we completed volume 11 out of 18. And today's video, we will be continuing on with volume 12 of Know Nothings and Know-It-Alls. There's too much to say beforehand, so let's get started. Woohoo! God, you have a headache. Is it dehydration? Only if you're thirsty for companionship. Are you hurt? Only your heart, and it aches for more pals. Is it withdrawal? Only from your addiction to new buddies. Really, there's only one cure for what ails you. Friendship. You wonder what sweet medicine you'll be imbibing this time. Galekh Zigzi? Tirona Cassund. Let's go Galekh. It's a chilly night. Not in a bad way, though. It's the kind of crisp air that invigorates you. You think you might just fuck around and make a friend. You're busy breathing in a big old lungful of the stuff when you hear someone call out behind you. Excuse me, alien, I would like a word. It's phrased like a request, but delivered like a command. You don't recognize the voice, so you do some mental calculations as you turn. Whoever it is seemed like they know who you are, which could be good or really, really bad. You could make it to Eber's hive in a few blocks if you had to make a run for it. That's not exactly a place you'd like to take sanctuary, though, so you figure the risk of tying to this mystery troll is worth it. By the time you've rotated around to face them, you've got a big friendly grin on. It's a bit of work to keep it there when you see who it is. Tall, sharp suit, well fitted out, curly hair, cute little Christmas tree looking horns, and an expression that screams, would pay someone else to bisect you if you call anything about him cute. It's a good thing you didn't choose to run, because last time you saw this guy, he was sprinting away from your sparkly self at top speeds. You'd have no choice, or you'd have no chance. He strides toward you with considerably less fear, but about as much purpose. Playing it friendly, you hold out your hand for him to shake. He takes it immediately, like it's an instinct. Yes, I am Galekh Zigzi. You are the alien. Nice to meet you officially, etc., etc. It's imperative that we speak, as it is a matter of importance, and the music is very loud. There we go. As it is a matter of some importance, I hope you will take my request seriously and follow me to my hive, where we can talk more openly, as in your best interest to comply. Wow, okay then. We got a wordy motherfucker over here, huh? Short and sweet, hey, let's hang out would have worked on your friend thirsty self, but that's fine. You don't have anything else to be doing, so why not follow this pushy high blood back to his house? Wonderful. This way. He stays true to his word and doesn't say anything else as he leads you toward his hive, but you watch it the way he clenches his teeth and flicks his eyes back at you as he walks. He's about to explode, holding it all in. You walk a little slower just to bask in the need emanating off him. Still dizzy with the feeling of having your presence wanted so badly, you trip a bit heading up a wide flight of stairs, and there are a lot of them. Jesus, he could have warned you at least. You look up as you pull yourself to your feet. The stairs lead up to an old stone building, covered with ivy that creeps around some pointy-topped windows and up to the top of turrets. It looks like the kind of place a crusty old professor might walk out of, followed by a flock of khaki-clad rich boys. The door opens with a creak. You do not hear anyone debating the difference between a movie and a film in there, but you do hear bleeding? Sounds reasonable. Once inside, Galekh beckons you through the foyer and into another room. This time, unlatching what looks like a very tall metal baby gate to let you both in. He checks the latch twice after he shuts it, then gestures to a pair of strutted high-backed chairs on either side of a fire. Please, take a seat. I will make us some coffee. You will not have had any like this before, as the taste is drastically different from the slop you get from a public coffee shop. You do take a seat, and you look around while he fucks with an antique espresso machine. He has a desk covered in papers, open books, and a typewriter. Along the walls there are bookshelves leading up to the vaulted ceiling. Everything has an air of purposeful messiness to it, like he pulled some of his cooler titles to leave laying around for you to see. How flattering. He has a framed picture of his house, which is the exact same image we saw coming in. You mentioned that this must be one of those personal jerk-off book hives Tizzy was talking about. Excuse me? Oh, never mind. You clear your throat and ask him what he wanted to talk about. He hands you a cup and sits down in the other chair. Oh, fuck me, man. Oh, I didn't know this guy fucking yapped so much. Of course, I just want to clear up a misunderstanding between us. You may be under the false impression that I am uninformed, read the attributes of rainbow drinkers. You may even think that you successfully fooled me into thinking you were one of them when we first met. I just had not previously encountered one in real life, nor had I ever seen an alien for that matter. Furthermore, when I saw you before, you were in the company of one Tagora Gorjek. I was making the most reasonable assumption possible, given the information I had available. It makes complete sense, if you think about it. He looks at you expectantly. Oh, you guess it's your turn to say something. Is that, all? Man, what the fuck is this guy talking about? You thought whatever he wanted was going to be a way bigger deal. You wanted to get this straight, you say. He dragged you all the way here under a thick veil of secrecy, just so he could tell you he knows what he's talking about? That he was actually right and not wrong, smart and not dumb, specifically about rainbow drinkers? Yes. Is this confusing to you? I cannot have people thinking incorrect things about me. Cool, no, you were just checking. Tap the fingers on the leather arm of the chair. Is that all he wanted from you? Oh, yes, I suppose. As long as we are in agreement, and you do not intend to spread any misinformation. You promise. That's great news. There's a long pause. He looks disappointed. Somehow. You're not sure if this is what he was expecting, but it sure as hell is what is transpiring. I will show you out. Aw, man. Well, let's run back. Lemo, I don't give a shit, my dude. You laugh, then realize he's 100% serious. He really cares that much what you think of him. It reminds you a bit of you a few months ago. Or, a few days ago. Still, you know what it's like. You try to tread the line between humoring him and easing him out of having to care that fucking much. You tell him you'd like him even if he was a complete rube, a total rainbow-drinking lore idiot. If his incompetence knew no bounds. I get it. Oh, heck. If the barely contained panic in his eyes is any indication, he isn't all that placated by that. You cut off that line of friend finagling and try something you hope is a little more his speed. It must be cool to have a primary source sitting in his own jerk-off book hive, though, right? He exhales, gathering himself a little. I am not sure why you keep calling it that, but I do admit I am interested in the chance to learn more about you. His fingers twitch. You hope he doesn't mean in the, creepy dissection kind of way. You are afraid to leave, right? You glance anxiously at the locked baby gate. What? Of course you can leave. Just because I am a high-blood does not mean I am a fucking sadist. My interest in you is purely academic and friendly. Furthermore, that gate is not for you. You do definitely worry about it, but not in a present, affectionable way. Just in the sort of under-the-surface self-preservation way you've worried about. You know, everything that's tried to end your run here on Alternia so far. Plus, he offered you friendship! You'll reach your heart into that monkey trap any day. Monkey trap? Yeah. Hell yeah, then. You throw your arms out, toss your head, and tell him you're all ready to be sighted and subsequently friended. Galekh doesn't pounce right on that, though. Mostly he looks uncomfortable, which doesn't stop him from talking. I do have considerable interest in understanding the pathos of the alien. What I really want to know is what makes you so magnetic. All observable criteria points to you not being much to look at, but there seems to be something about you that draws people in. That isn't even on the top 10 list of insults you've heard since landing, so you brush it off just fine. Plus, you have it on good authority that your legs are nice. You flex those bad girls in order to give yourself a little self-esteem boost. I was wondering if you had a ministerial status, but the more I learn about you, the more difficult it becomes to make any sense of your plans. Accounts of your activities contradict each other at almost every turn. You are either the most suave and well-connected... Oh my fucking god, what is that word? Plenipotentiary I have ever heard of, or you are running around with no clue what you're doing, and somehow it works out for you anyway. You mean, it's worked before? A low, frustrated clicking rumbles in his throat. He puts his coffee aside and crosses his legs. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. I know all about your antics, leg-based and otherwise. I cannot work out what the draw is. Why do people like this? He seems pretty fixated on this. I wonder if perhaps he has some hidden reason for wanting to know why other trolls might be into your freaky little self. Some sort of personal interest in another troll's friendship decisions and inclinations and interests. Just, you know, maybe. You wait for him to blush, but he doesn't. He does start talking very quickly, though. First of all, I do not know what you mean by that. I do not base my self-worth on anything so external. Hypothetically, if I did happen to be invested in what someone else thought of me, I would not tell you about. Furthermore, just because I am not a freak does not mean I do not have desirable traits. You think he'd probably keep going forever, but You think he'd probably keep going forever, now that he's started letting it all out, but there's a sound behind you that shuts him the fuck up. You both turn to see his Losis, a big scruffy goat, gently headbutting the baby gate. It looks extremely friendable. Stay on topic. Please ignore him. He just wants to get in here and cause problems. You think hard to yourself about this. You really want to go pet this big goat dad, but you want to dish about this guy's love life even more. You've heard about fuck. Oh, I've so much reading today. So you've heard fuck! You've heard some about this situation from the other side, of course, but you really shouldn't let Galekh know that Tagora tells you about their tentative and awkward, pitchish flirtation. Unless, you know, it helps you get more friends? No, you slap your own cheek to snap yourself out of it. No secret spilling. Galekh leans away from you against the back of his chair. Fuck, you are really not doing anything to change my impression of you. You have an idea, so you cut him off before he can monologue you to death. You tell him that it sounds to you like what's really bothering him, a regular, non-freaky guy, is that he's jealous of your free-spirited friendability. He wants what you've got. He glares at you, his breathing quickening. Hoo yeah, hit her. I not want anything of yours. Interrupting him has worked pretty well so far, so you try it again. Let's cut the shit, you say. There's no reason for him to hide anything from you. First of all, you already promised to like him no matter what. Secondly, you know what it's like to want to impress someone. And finally, you know all about how to be a huge motherfucking weirdo. So, why doesn't he let you show him how to walk on the wild side? He can take a few pointers from Alternia's biggest freak. You can see the ensuing makeover montage already, and you start bouncing a bit in your seat. I have zero interest in... Okay, that won't do it. Try one more tactic, telling him you guess he just doesn't mind not knowing shit about how to be a freak. Old Galekh, they'll all say, smart at how to be boring, and a real big dumbass about weird stuff. I see what you were doing. It stands to reason that allowing you to broaden my horizons with your alien ways will only serve to increase my cultural competence. Great! So what will it be? Shopping for a new, more casual suit? Something wilder? Spicy undergarments? Dyeing your hair? Other weirder body mod? Galekh's eyebrows shoot up. That last one sounds interesting. Wow, he's really ready to go whole ass, huh? You weren't expecting that from this guy, but you guess maybe he was waiting for an excuse to try something. That or he really can't deal with not being Alternia's biggest obnoxious know-it-all. Go big or get cold, as they say. Damn, that probably is what they say. Anyway, you can't wait to get this show on the road. You tell him you even know a guy that can probably help him out. Will he be discreet? I am willing to leap into this, but I do need to protect my privacy, of course. Oh, for sure. You mean, like, probably? Sprout furrows, either at your continued interruption or your hesitance. So you waste no more time and whip out your palm husk. You pull up the secret bright profile you got Malek to make so you could keep in touch and call him up. What's up, Robo Buddy? You get right to it and tell him you've made a new friend who's looking to get a new hole put in him. Behind you, your Galekh choke on his coffee. Artistically, an aesthetic hole. Galekh shrugs weakly, his eyes still wide. Or something similar. Hell yeah, anything for you, bud. Malek's eyes dart from your face to the room behind you. You're not sure how much he can see through the screen, though. My gear is easy to pack, so I'll be over soon. I'll bring options. You start to give him directions, but he stops you. Don't worry, I know exactly where you are. Your palm musk is low-jacked. Figured you'd be cool with that. See you soon. Malk hangs up, and you grin at Galekh to reassure him. This sure seems like a manageable situation. He offers you more coffee, which you take because you are a polite guest. Galekh starts IDing in a small leather-bound notebook, so you mostly watch, listen to him explain the brainstorming process, take sips, and wish the goat would come back. Eventually, you hear soft footsteps approaching. Galekh jumps when Malak opens the baby gate. How'd you get in the front door? I hacked it. Galekh's mouth opens and shuts a few times. His eyes dart between your and Malak's matching hoodies. Just kidding. Your operation is pretty low-tech for an Indigo, unfortunately. Your Lucis let me in. Anyway, I'm Malak. And from behind him, a proud bleating. Hell yes! Galekh looks around and wrings his hands. There's a lot going on all of a sudden. He points to you. Yeah. You, alien, hold on to my Lucis. He cannot be unsupervised in here or he will eat everything. And as for you, Malak, hello, my name is Galekh. 6Z, welcome to my hive. That is not a problem. I hear you want to get freaky. Galekh tugs at the bottom of his suit jacket, straightening it reflexively. Poor dude. You want to tell him you're proud of him for going so far out of his depth, but he seems to be holding his own here. Plus, the goat really wants to make a snack out of some old paperbacks. You take your job seriously and hold on tight to his neck. Yes, that is correct. I hear you have the tools to help me achieve this. I am open to a wide range of modifications. My notebook has some sketches. You want to dutifully look and not touch, too. But wrangling a big goat is a full-time job. Malak holds up the notebook for you both to see. Wow, Galekh's not a bad artist, actually. Still, you kind of have to turn your head and squint to make out what's going on in a couple of the sketches. You guess there are still a few surprises left for you in the brave new world of troll anatomy, huh? Point out the sketch you like best with one hand as you scramble to keep hold of a fistful of wiggly Lucis fur with the other. Yeah, I can work with that. Hell yeah, button up, get some layers off. Galekh flicks his eyes to you and you give him a big supportive thumbs up. You look politely away when he starts taking off his jacket. Instead, you focus on your job. And oh, you have some pocket snacks. Pull out some mostly not bruised fruit and offer it to Galekh's Lucis. He chomps it up readily and calms down a bit. Geez, can't Galekh afford food for this guy? He eats plenty. Galekh doesn't take off his undershirt, but he does roll up the bottom of it before leaning his forearms against the back of one of his chairs, exposing the broad palette of his hips and back. That design does capture an ineffable facet of my core self. Get going on it. I assume I do not need to spell out any potential consequences if you stray from the artistic vision, correct? Mark rolls his eyes and pulls out a tattoo gun. It looks mostly how they do on Earth, but with a stripe of greenish, almost biological light. Don't worry, your blood color is crystal clear. Galekh winces at the first press of the gun to his skin. Or maybe it's lasers? There's a glow happening back there. With the Lucis sated, you're free to see what's going on. So you climb into the chair Galekh's leaning against the back of, and peer over to watch. So what's the deal with this anyway? Tattoos don't seem much like your vibe. There's no specific reason. I'm simply fleshing out my worldly experiences, attaining visceral knowledge of a new kind. He's checking off something on his bucket list, you helpfully add. Galekh flushes a bright blue and jerks backward, screeching like you haven't heard since you first met and traumatized him. Oh boy, you have no idea how, but that was apparently extremely the wrong thing to say. Watch it. You're gonna make me fuck up your ineffable vision. No need to flip your think pan. Gotta do what it takes to find a bucket buddy. I've been there. Galekh stares decidedly into the middle distance, and as he breathes in and out and repositions himself against the chair. That is extremely not what this is about. I am perfectly capable of fulfilling my propagational duties. This is not a thing I have to do, it is a thing I want to do. If it happens to spark concupiscent interest, so be it. Yeah, whatever, I don't judge. You only have the barest grasp of what they're discussing here, but things are starting to click into place. You don't want to embarrass your potential new friend by calling him out on his crush even further, or by implying he can't find anyone to fill a quadrant with. You tell Malik that you tell Malik that Galekh is making his decisions based on his own personal emotional self-educating journey. And that's all. Yes, that is the part of it, exactly. Galekh smiles at you, and it's crooked and stiff on his face like he hadn't expected to put it there. You smile back and place your hand on top of his, white-knuckled against the back of the chair. He winces in pain only once more before Malik steps back, tilting his head to admire his handiwork. That'll do it. Galekh rolls his shoulders and twists his body around to check the new ink. Satisfied, he turns to extend his hand to Malik. Thank you for your time on such short notice. Would you like to stay? Malik shakes his hand but cuts him off there. No thanks, I'm not much for the after party. See you around, Robo-Bud. Nice to tat you, Button-Up. He tosses his gear back in his back and nods at you both. On his way out, he pats the goat's head, now placid. One new friend is enough for one day, I suppose. Thank you for encouraging me to try something new. I still do not completely understand you, but your penchant for flinging yourself wholeheartedly into precarious situations is fascinating. That's what you do best. You grin uncontrollably at the compliment. I might try employing that tactic a bit more in my daily life, if it will lead to newer, deeper grasp of the troll condition. As such, I have 2 confessions for you. Takes a deep breath and gets the rest out all in one go. 1. I knew only an elementary amount of information about rainbow drinkers before I met you. And 2. The reason for my fond hinge jerk reaction at the time was because of my Gorjek-shaped blind spot. Graciously do not let on that those are 2 of the most obvious pieces of information you've ever encountered. Now clears his throat and thrusts his palm towards you. Now that we have that taken care of, take a photo. Now that we have taken care of that, take a photo. He turns around and you lovingly set up the shot. On his hip bone is a modest rendition of his sign, in indigo, of course. It's framed by 2 sprigs of pine, crossed under it in a V. The look on his face as he turns back over his shoulder for the camera is the most self-satisfied thing you've ever seen. When you hand Galekh's palmas back, he fucks with it for a minute and then it starts buzzing with notification after notification. He looks up at you, a smile creeping onto the corner of his mouth. He bites it back like he's not sure what to do with the undefinable happiness he's experiencing. He hates it. Victory! Sweet. Alright, and now it's time for the second part. Good God, there was a lot of talking. Hopefully, the, I guess, know-nothings, or the know-nothing talks less. Skip! Tirona Cassund. So here you are, in jail. You always knew you would end up here eventually, but you were expecting a human jail, not this. It all happened so fast. You're waltzing down another Alternian street in search of friends when you heard the telltale sound of machinery behind you, and before you could escape, some giant metal drone with a rocket ass scooped you up and flew away with you. You were honestly surprised that the drone didn't execute you on sight. They've tried to do that before, after all. Perhaps your numerous shenanigans have grown so vast and ridiculous, someone wants to see you in person before you die, if only to have the chance to ask you what the fuck. In any case, you aren't complaining. Not about being brought in alive, at least. You have plenty of other things to complain about, though. This cell sucks. It's hard and cold and full of this gross-looking moss that could probably kill you since everything else on this planet sure can. There's a couple of patchwork holes in the back of the wall of your cell, which aren't enough to wriggle your way out through, but are enough to let in the light from outside. You've been in here since a few hours before dawn, and now it's midday, which means scorching rays of sunlight are streaming their way into your cell and forcing you to dart around to the shadiest spots as the sun makes its way across the sky. As if that weren't enough, it's also hammering rain outside, which really isn't doing much to stymie the sunlight. And you think the rain might be acidic too? Fun! Intermingled with the rain, you've been hearing some sounds coming from other rooms. Interrogations, maybe? Torture? Whatever it is, you are not a fan. And would somebody please fix the leak in the roof? If you have to listen to one more drop of water exploding onto the floor like a nuclear fucking bomb, your shit is going to take an extended sabbatical from the handle. To conclude, it's not great. You'd like out. Right now, preferably. Now? Oh, god damn it. You were hoping that someone would conveniently appear in time with your internal monologue, but no such luck. Okay, there she is. Your new savior is small, probably the smallest troll you've met so far, with the possible exception of Amicia, and she looks about as young as Amicia as well. She's got wild pigtails sprang from her head and a twitchy look in her eye, like she's going to start sprinting the second she hears a sound. She opens your cell door with a creak and gestures down the hallway with a quick jerk of her head. Come on, with me now, quickly. Head down, keep quiet, no asking questions. Okay. You follow her down the hallway, keeping quiet as instructed, even though you have so many questions you want to ask her. Questions like what her name is, or where you are, or why they haven't fixed the fucking leak in the roof. Instead, you just hurry closely behind as she takes you to a stairwell in the back of the building and up multiple flights of stairs. Peeking out of the window of each door you pass, you see what seems to be an evidence locker, and then a row of tightly packed cubicles, then a long winding hallway. This is where she opens the door and ushers you through. The hallway is full of electronically locked doors with troll signs on them, the overwhelming majority of which are teal. The only other presence here seems to be automated cleaning robots. You are unsurprised to see that troll Roombas come with their knives pre-attached. She punches a series of numbers and letters into a keypad beside one of the doors, bearing her sign and a name, and then slips inside, and you follow. Phew, here we are. My hive away from hive. You can be a bit louder now, but no shouting. That'd just be weird as hell, buddy. Oh, and my name is Tirona, by the way. You politely refrain from shouting as you introduce yourself to her. Tirona pulls up a chair and sits down at her husktop, tapping some keys. So what we're gonna do here is I'm just going to go ahead and access your files in our system. Shouldn't be too hard to find since you're a weird alien and yep, here we go. That's what we're looking for. Time to make a few edits. She leans in, fingers flying quickly over the keys. She's absurdly fast on the keyboard, her eyes darting back and forth across the screen. Now, normally, I wouldn't pull anything this risky, and I certainly wouldn't be helping out a criminal, but I have it on a good source that you're not the kind of person we should be letting rot in a cell, or worse. Right now, you're in our system on a lot of weird and serious offenses, but you and we know the only thing you're really guilty of is trying to keep your head on your shoulders attached, right? Keeping your head and shoulders attached. Just gonna click here, delete a few things, and there we go, you're clean. Wow, just like that, huh? You thank her profusely, and even begin to consider groveling at her feet, but she cuts you off. Listen, I'm just doing the grunt work for you. Wasn't really my decision to spring you. Let's just say you and I have a mutual friend, wink wink nudge nudge. I run errands for him sometimes in exchange for information, and I just happen to be pulling an all-dayer over here anyway, so I was in the right place at the right time. This mutual friend of yours sounds like a dead ringer from Malik. Wow, knowing a cerulean in high places is already paying some great dividends. It beats our data, at least. All you got from her were some really weird DMs on Chitter from her stream followers. Anyway, speaking of being in the right place, what is this place, anyway? This place is, well, it's a lot of things. Jail and courthouse and office and a whole lot more. Basically, if you're a teal looking to learn how to do teal things, this is where you go for a hands-on internship. Most of it is law-related, of course, but there's a couple of semi-related fields for the go-getters looking to do something a little different. Like me! Yep, I bet you're just dying to know what I get up to in these hollowed halls, don't you? Surely a brilliant mind like me, like Miss Kasund, is doing some real important work here, is what I bet you're thinking, and you are absolutely correct, my friend. Feast your grander bulbs on this. A few clicks of the wriggling bulbous mouse, and her husktop loads up several images. You glance at the screen, and the recognition center in your brain goes haywire with dopamine. Alien culture or not, you know memes when you see them. God, you miss memes. Check it out. They're a little corny, but I know Triza is gonna love them. She's a real sucker for this kind of thing. One of them is an image macro featuring Triza doing her makeup with the caption, "Triza's so hot, rebels are so not." Another seems to feature troll brains. At least you hope that those are brains, of varying sizes and hemo colors. Being a rebel is the small maroon brain, sympathizing with rebels is the medium-sized olive brain, and worshipping Teresa is the giant purple brain. These ones will be going up on the web soon, but for now I've got plenty other memes circulating. See, I made a bunch of fake Chitter account. God, the 3s for the E's is really fucking with me. And got some techie troll to automate them for me. He was hyped out the excitement nub to do some work on Trista's behalf, I tell you. Some of these accounts just pretend to be regular trolls, and others are best jokes, nightly, big, funny, relatable laugh humor, you know? They're racking up the follows as we speak. And the point of them is to put these Trisa memes out there. That's how you get them. You start with a couple of innocuous jokes and cute Purbies pics, and then BAM! Suddenly you're spreading the good word of the Empire, and everyone accepts it. It's because your Twitter account is so funny and hip. I call it memaganda. It's gonna be the next big thing, I tell you. It does seem like a pretty clever way of spreading propaganda. Really effective on today's modern youth. It also deeply unnerves you, but you leave that part out. There's just something wrong about memes being used for evil. Thank you. Glad someone appreciates all the hard work I'm doing here instead of just brushing me off. I've had to do a lot of overtime putting out propaganda for the Empire lately, just between you and me. Although, this ain't exactly much of a secret anymore. There's talk of a rebellion brewing like a real, actual, big-scale one instead of just a bunch of high-bloods getting paranoid because the Burgundy looked at them funny. It's pretty scary, actually, and I hope I won't get swept up in all of it if something nasty breaks out. Yeah, that's the vibe you've been getting. You're about to ask for more info about this rebellion when she cuts you off and keeps rambling on. Seems like she's got a lot to say. You get the impression that nobody else here listens to her, possibly because she's still so young compared to most of them, but saving you from a jail cell is a pretty good way to get you to pay attention. But here's the thing, despite being a whole lot of potential trouble, it's also a great opportunity to show the Empire just how invaluable my skill set will be for them. See, I've got it all planned out. First, I need to prove to Triza how useful and clever I am, and how helpful I can be for a regime. Then, when Triza comes of age, she'll dethrone the current Empress and take her place. Most trolls just love Triza, and those who aren't are gonna get themselves killed real quick, so I'm sure she'll have plenty of support when the time comes for their duel. I hope there was nothing cut off there, because I can't see it. Oh, wait. No. History. Yeah. There we go. Once she's in full power, I snag myself a nice position as her propaganda minister, and if I'm real lucky, I can wheedle myself, or my way, into being assistant to His Honorable Tyranny himself. His Honorable Tyranny? You don't think you've heard of this guy before. You assume he's a particularly high-ranking troll in the legislative process? Oh no. He's just a fuck-off huge monster who passes judgment on criminals by eating them. Or eating anyone who bugs him, really. He presides over particularly noteworthy trials, especially at the extreme court. In retrospect, you should have known. If monsters can be parents, they can surely be judges too. But, what exactly is the appeal here? Who wouldn't want to be big and handsome and strong enough to devour anyone who annoys you? It's the perfect life, I tell ya. Fair. As it stands, since I can't be him, I can at least be his best buddy and the most perfect little helper. And besides, doing all the behind-the-scenes work is a lot safer than trying to actually hunt down or prosecute criminals, I'll tell you that much. I mean, yeah, he might eat me, but that's just a normal workplace safety hazard, really. Nothing I can't handle. She really does have it all planned out, doesn't she? You're impressed. Thank you. But I can't do it alone. I'm gonna need some help along the way from a very talented and clever associate or two. I bet you know who I'm talking about. Lucis? Her classmates? No, dummy. Sheesh, here I am trying to butter you up and it flies right over your think pan. I'm talking about you. I need your help. And I think after bailing you out of that jam, I've earned it, wouldn't you say? The old I rake my claws down your back, you rake yours down mine dealy, you know? Troll idioms are still as inscrutable as ever, but you do know a thing or two about claws and about helping people to earn their good graces. What's she need? You ever hear the old adage? Teals talk. Well, a lot of teals have been talking about the strange alien going around getting all buddy with the cast. The way I see it, someone like that might just know how to get me into their offices, dig up some dirt on them and their potential rebel connections. I keep saying they should keep shelling out for grander scan tech, but nobody ever listens to me. No way, no how. A regular old password system ought to be enough, right? They wish. Yeah, they really wish those locks were as secure as they think they are. You could figure out the codes, no problem, I'm sure. What do you say, pal? How's about you help me help the Empire and root out that rebel scum? If you're not particularly keen on betraying your friends, but you do owe Tirona a favor now, and you'd love to make another pal while you're at it, there's gotta be some way you can maneuver your way out of this mess. You tell her, sure, you'll offer some help. If you're going to hit up someone's office, it should be Tigiri. No, not Tizias. Tigiri? Tagara! Tizias is the worst option. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. He's real smart and a good talker, and he's always got the latest gossip, so you'd think he'd be my kind of guy. But he's also just such a sleaze, like a real creepy creepster. Not to mention he charges out the sniff tube for all his info. No thanks, I'll handle it myself. Oh, but imagine the scandals if he turned out to be a rebel all along. I really hope we find something on him here. Oh, it looks exactly the same. After some elite hacking, that is, punching his wriggling day into the keypad, the door to his office clicks open. The two of you slip inside and you glance around. You are immediately reminded of his hive, almost eerily reminded of it, in fact. Did he just order copies of all the same minimalist aesthetic furniture and have them sent to his office? Well, you don't know exactly what that is, but it's certainly impressive. You know, I'm not so sure if that vase is regulation. Take a picture of it just in case, will you? Sure thing. And if you happen to accidentally delete the picture later, well, actually you have accidentally deleted a bunch of pictures before. Figuring out your troll phone has been an ordeal. You line up your camera to take the shot and... oh, fuck! As you were about to press the button, your phone received an incoming call from someone, and you end up hitting the answer call button instead. Now you're going to be trapped in a social encounter you weren't mentally prepared for. No! Wait, it's just Tagora. That's no problem at all. He's gregarious and easy to talk to, and you're standing in his office. Fuck! Again! Throwing out your most practiced everything is perfectly fine expression, you're trying to angle the camera so you can't tell where you are. My apologies for bothering you on such short notice. It's been a while since I did his voice, definitely. I recently learned through the grapevine that you may have been responsible for certain changes in Ziggy's attitude as of late. I thought it might be prudent to let you know that... Wait, is that my office? Did you break into my office? No! God, no. It's not his office, it's just... an office that coincidentally happens to look exactly like his? His face has been frozen mid-smile, and now it slowly seems to twist, till the smile doesn't look nearly as friendly or genuine as it did moments ago. He starts to laugh, little raspy chuckles under his breath. I see. More the fool was I to ever believe I could trust a fellow liar. Is this Galekh's work? No, it can't be. He doesn't do that kind of subterfuge. It was all just a game to you. Yes, that must be it. Of course it was. You're not here to make friends. What? No, that's exactly what you're here to do. The bills I so graciously forewent for your sake. Better call Gorger. I'm only just seeing that now. Ha! Well, no matter. You can expect a very hefty invoice to arrive via email as soon as I finish typing it up. No, please, no, it doesn't have to end this way. You're just trying to scare another friendship. He knows how it goes, right? Saying or doing anything for a bit of social gain? Oh, but of course. And I would be very happy to continue our business relationship in the future, once I've been reimbursed in full for my time and expenditures. Farewell. He ends the call and his face disappears. The friendly little boop sound that Gripe makes cannot possibly underscore the finality and tragedy of the situation. Your heart truly is broken. But hey, at least you can trade one friend for another, right? Now that she's seen what you're willing to sacrifice for her, surely Tirona will. Tirona? Ah, shit. At some point while you were distracted, she made a break for it. Now you're left with naught but a hefty fine and an ache in your chest where friendship used to be. Game over. Damn. Well, let's go to Gary's. Surely I won't need to throw Tizia's under the bus. Skip. Skip. Follower. Skip. Good God. Tigiri! Why not? After mulling it over it for a while, you decide Tigiri is the safest choice. Sure, he's the guy with a sword, but he's also by far the least likely to harbor rebel sympathies, so you won't be getting anyone in trouble here. Yeah, Tigiri. Now that's an interesting choice, I tell you what. He's always signing up to the Purple Bloods and trying to make himself look all cool and knowledgeable about law stuff. So you'd think he'd be clean, but maybe, just maybe, it's all a front. I'm working on a video about rebel sympathizers right now, actually, and that's one of my big, bold points that I go over. How sometimes the guy trying too hard to look like he's on the level is actually as far off the level as it gets. So yeah, let's see what this guy is hiding, why don't we? Moseying on over to his door, you consider the keypad. This shouldn't be a hard password to guess. It's gotta be the name of one of his favorite animes, right? You punch one in, and nope, a buzzer sounds. Try another, nada. But to your delight, the door clicks and begins to slide open after the third anime title. You glance over your shoulder to see Tirona beaming at you from right behind you. Then you turn back to the door and yikes! A katana comes swinging out toward you on a wire, and you narrowly dive out the way before it connects, crashing to the floor in the process. You grunt and stagger back to your feet, and you hear a familiar voice sounding from a speaker in Takeri's room. Foolish evildoer! Do you really think it would be that simple? You've fallen for my trap! Your 3 pitiful guesses were all it took to seal your doom. Not that it's going to do you any good while you bleed out on the floor. Sayonara, trespasser. Message seems to cut off there, but then there's some muffled sounds, like a microphone being moved. What do you think, Tadashi? It's going to look so cool when I show it off to my colleagues. You breathe a sigh of relief. That katana was aiming right at your head. You almost got skewered. Talk about a close one, right, Tirona? Tirona? Game over. Shit! So the one that seems like the worst choice is the only good choice, really? Without being fined or Tirona getting killed. Follower. You'd think with the katana being aimed at our head and Tirona seemingly being considerably shorter would kind of go over her head. Tizia's. It's gotta be Tizia's. She runs a tight ship. If sleep-deprived ship. You'll give it a good try. Fail to find anything useful, and Tirona will appreciate your attempt. Tizia's, huh? Yeah! She's got that vibe to her, you know? She talks a lot about improving the justice system, and what kind of person does that, huh? A rebel sympathizer, that's who. The Alternian justice system has worked just fine for hundreds of sweeps. The only person who ought to be proposing changes is Truzias herself, but obviously, there's nothing changed or she'd have done it already. Anyway, this is Tizzy's door right over here, so why don't you start working your magic? An idea comes to you. Start tapping away at your phone, much to Tirona's chagrin. Hey buddy, we're trying to break into someone's office. There's no time to play Flappy Talon Screecher. You explain that you're looking up Tizias on your phone to consolidate information and improve your chance of guessing your password. Whoopsie! Sorry, I'm just a little antsy here, I guess. Carry on. Changing the keypad, you start inputting your guesses. You try the birthday list on Tizia's shared profile. Nope, even the name of her maid sprint doesn't even work. Then something clicks. Everyone expects a long, complex password, right? You try just 2 paltry digits instead. 69. Click. The light goes green and the door opens, and the door to her office slides open. Bingo! A lot of gobbles. so many gavels. And that's a salamander and a crystal ball there. Must be a snow globe. Feeling pretty chipper about your breaking and entering skills, you usher Tirona inside with an exaggerated bow. She cackles and skips right in, making her way over to a husk-top sitting on Tisius's crowded desk. There's papers and old musk lying around everywhere. And the rest of the room is about as disorganized as the desk, with towering stacks of books threatening to collapse if you so much as breathe wrong. The Empire already monitors online communications, of course, but we've got tools for those sneaky sneaks who try to hide things off the cloud. Tirona produces a small device, bright red with gold accents, and plugs it into what appears to be a USB slot on the husk-top. It wriggles upside-down. I'll go through her files, and you start looking through all those books and folders, okay? You offer a thumbs up and turn your attention to the absolutely massive pile of literature that is strewn throughout the office. You're not really giving it your full effort, hesitant to pry into Tisius's stuff, but you get the sense that she isn't hiding anything here anyway. Upon you, Tirona is clicking through folders on the husk-top, the exasperation in her voice steadily growing. Useless school feeding assignments, copies of court transcripts, a bunch of nudes. It's all just normal Teal stuff. There's nothing incriminating on here at all. Where's she hiding it? I guess nudes is normal for Teals. Tirona pulls away from the husk-top and dives into the stack of books with the gusto of a small child in a ball pit, rifling through pages as quickly as she can. It isn't long before she gives up that pursuit, too, emerging from the pile in a shower of loose pages. Ah! I can't find any evidence of wrongdoings anywhere! No hidden folders on her husk-top, no secret stash between the pages of a book, nothing! She stumps back and forth, pacing around the room and scratching at her face absent-mindedly. Maybe there just isn't anything to find. Is that so bad? Yes! If she's not bad, it's super bad! Blech. Look, see? I'm not big and I'm not strong, and even if I get a growth spurt when I'm older, that won't change that I don't like to fight. That's just not what I'm cut out to do. I'm a thinker, and a listener, and a talker. Knowledge is power, and it's the only kind of power I'm good with. It's the only kind that'll keep me in the game. Everyone's gotta play nice and get off my case because they know I've always got the dirt. But all those shifty, crafty Teal jerks keep trying to hide all their secrets from me. I'm gonna be hooped if I can't get one over on them. Tirona yanks at her pigtails and slumps down against the wall, looking as frazzled as ever as you've seen her. This calls for a pep talk. You sit down across from her and offer a gentle smile. You know where she's coming from. When you came here, you were a mess. You still kind of are. All you had was your guts, your mind, and your goofy charisma. You've been blundering your way across the planet, but somewhere in between all the blundering, you made friends. You gained skills. You figured out how to keep surviving, even when it seemed impossible. And if you can do it, she can too. Sure, she may not be as big and strong as she'd like, but she won't always win. Sometimes there's going to be days like today, where she doesn't succeed. But she's got this spark in her. You can see it. That tells you she'll be just fine as long as she keeps her head up and tries to hang in there. Tirona perks right up. Her motivational speech game is really on ball today. Yeah! You're right. This might have been a bust, but I sure ain't. I've already got all kinds of connections and pals and skills. I mean, the guy I run those errands for, he says I'm one of the smartest and cleverest Teals he's ever met. But that I'm really mature for my age, and you never find out what else he says because you're interrupted by the sci-fi whoosh of the office door opening as Tisius steps through. There's a long, awkward pause before she raises an eyebrow at Tirona. And now, just what in the hell are you two doing in my office? Tirona begins a stammering response, but Tisius jerks her head toward the door. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to get out. Right now. She turns to you. Not you. You? We need to have a chat. Tirona flashes you a terrified look before scurrying out of the room, door sliding shut behind her. Tisius glances at the door, then pulls you toward the most secluded corner of the room, where books are piled so high they practically reach the ceiling. She speaks in a low, hushed whisper. A good idea, because you'd bet a troll buck or two that Tirona is listening outside the door. Hey, so, that was some good thinking. Texting me as soon as you got your palm house back. You shrug humbly. You're getting good at leveraging your bountiful stockade of friends. I wonder what she thinks I'm going to do with you. There's a lot of rumors about me. Most of them untrue, but when you look as tired as I do every day, trolls whisper. She chuckles slightly and takes a sip of water before sighing. Can't believe she thought I'd ever be dumb enough to keep incriminating documents in my office. She must be getting real desperate to prove herself. This is exactly my point, about how fucked up it is here. Everyone trying to climb over each other out of the muck and pull the rest down, like shell scuttlers in the seafood storage device. Poor girl. She thinks she's got everyone in the palm of her hand, but she's being played as much as the rest of us schmucks. Another sigh. You feel like sighing may as well be his second quirk. But you're already heard enough from me about all that. Go pretend I chewed you the fuck out or something. I need to reorganize all this shit now that you ruined my old system. Your office looks far better organized than it did when you walked in, actually, but you're not about to split hairs over it when Tizzy has just bailed you out of a potential disaster. You thank her, give her a quick hug, and then slip out of the office. Tirona nearly falls over herself, stumbling away from the door when she was clearly trying to listen in. Whoa! You're here and still alive and in one piece! That must have been a real close one. You know, what she does to people who cross her, right? Well, I'll give you a hint, pal. It starts with disembowelment and only gets worse from there, How'd you make it out? Oh, you know, talking your way out of jam? It's total breeze. Tirona seems starry-eyed and impressed. You sure do know how to handle yourself, especially for a weird alien. I think you and I ought to stick together. Technically, you don't owe me anything anymore, but us little people work best in numbers, yeah? You could use a friend like me. Your smile, basking in the now familiar glow of camaraderie. Yeah, you could use a friend like her. You think she could use a friend like you, too. You did good! Yeah! Sweet. And that was the end of volume 11. Yeah, 11. Can you believe it? We're already 11 volumes in. Only 7 more? Yeah, 7 more and an epilogue to go. Or if I'm misremembering, 6 more and an epilogue to go. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. If you want to see more of my content, make sure to subscribe. Check out my other content while you wait for the next upload. And stay tuned for when I finally start Friendsim 2. Have a good day and do what you do best. See ya!